In today's video, I want to talk to you about some of the things you should do when you're taking your sewing machine into the repair shop. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson Hurst of Chatterbox Quilts, and I recently had to take one of my machines in for some servicing, and it got me to thinking that when you take your machine in, there's a lot of information that you may need to tell the people in the shop, wherever it is you're going, about what's happening or not happening with your sewing machine, and it can be really easy to forget to tell them some of those things. So I've come up with a way to help you with that, and that is a piece of paper that you can print out that has different sections you can fill in, so you can leave it with the repair shop and you can have one copy at home so you'll know what you had asked them to do and are confident that all the information they need is on that sheet you left with them. So let's talk about that sheet. So it starts off with with the date. Actually, the date you dropped it off is the first thing you want to put on there. And then after that, you want to have information about, who owns that machine, which would be you. So you want to have your name, your address, your phone number so they can contact you if there's any issues, and for sure when it's ready. And also your email is a good thing to have on there too. You also want to make sure that you've got the name of the sewing machine, the manufacturer, the model, and also really important to have the serial number of that machine, because they may have more than one of that particular model in the shop at one time to do repairs on. So you want to make sure you get the right machine back. I know, you wouldn't think that would happen, but I've heard of cases where they're trying to give you the wrong machine. So having that serial number on there is a really good way to ensure that the same machine you dropped off comes home with you. And by the way, because the serial numbers are typically in the most inaccessible place on a sewing machine, I find it's really a great idea to take a picture of the serial number with your phone. Then you've always got it for reference. What else do you need to put on this form? Well, probably the most important thing, maybe not the most important, but the most important to you is what's happening with this machine. What are the issues with it? What do you want them to look at? Is it just going in for an annual tune-up? Is something not happening in the bobbin area? There's a problem, let's say, for example. Maybe the automatic pressure foot lifter, if you have that on your machine, isn't working. Whatever the issue is, and there may be more than one, so whatever the issues are, you want to clearly state those on that form. So this is really helpful, I find, for me, for sure, that I don't forget to tell them something, okay? So anything that I want looked at on that machine should be put in that particular area. Then also, when you drop off the machine, there are certain things you have to drop off with it. So for example, you need to drop off your power cord, you need to drop off your foot pedal. There's probably going to be a foot on the machine, right? And you may have extra accessories you're dropping off, or even extra presser feet, because maybe you're having a problem with that presser foot working with the machine. So anything that you're dropping off with your machine, you want to check off. There's near at the bottom of the form that you can check off the common ones, and then you can write in anything different. So for example, on this Janome 9450 of mine, I have an additional thread holder on the back. It's an additional accessory, does not come standard with the machine. And if I am leaving that attached to the machine when I send it in, I want to make sure that I have that noted on that form. So this also helps when you pick up the machine to make sure that everything you dropped off with it comes back with it too. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you is, again, depending on why you're taking your machine in and what the issue is with it, or issues are with it, you may want to check that machine out before you take it home. I did this recently when I dropped a machine off because it was having these kind of intermittent problems, and I wanted to make sure those were fixed before I brought it home. So even if it takes you extra time in the shop, you should be able to go in there and you should be able to set your machine up and work on it and make sure that whatever the issues were you were having before are no longer occurring. It's not a bad idea to call the shop first and say, when I pick up my machine and I'm coming in this afternoon, for example, could you please have it plugged in an area where I can work on it for a little bit? Because sometimes, much like a car, I find, some of the high-end machines especially may have an issue that doesn't show up right away. So, you may have to run it for a little bit, do a bit of stitching with it before that issue starts showing up. So, be sure, don't be afraid to check that out at the shop, because there's nothing worse than, you just go in, you pick up your machine, you come home, and you start sewing, and it's got the same issue again. All right, so I've included this form for you to download to use when you take your sewing machine into a repair shop, and it's in the description below. So you can go there, click on the link, and you'll be able to download that document for you to use for your sewing machine when it next goes in for some repairs. Thanks for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified the next time I release a new video. And before you go, check out these other videos I've got just for you. For more helpful quilting information, please go to www.chatterboxquilts.com.